To the ongoing presence of Local 10 News in Havana, coming from our local members of Congress.
Our senior political reporter Michael Putney is here now with that part of the story. You've been hearing from a lot of people, I'm sure.
Well, I have spoken to Carlos Cuba, Mario Diaz-Balart, Ileana Ros-Lehtinen, and Senator Marco Rubio, and we're going to hear from them momentarily in a piece that I have prepared. The reaction today, generally, it's positive from those 4 Cuban-American members of Congress, but they are also a bit skeptical and wary.
And as we wait for your to hear more from that, let's also just talk about some not only reaction from members of Congress, but you've also talked to members of the community, the Cuban exile community as well.
Well, I think that it's safe to say that in South Florida, where we have roughly 1 million Cuban Americans, there is a huge hunger for solid news coming from Cuba. And now, with our Hatzel Vela there, you're going to get it.
Look, it all depends.
The most wary, Congressman Mario Diaz-Balart.
If Channel 10, as I expect, goes there to actually get hard news, to interview the opposition, the real life in Cuba, and then it's a benefit. If, on the other hand, it goes to just kind of espouse the regime, the regime propaganda, and then obviously that would not be positive.
Local 10 News Havana doesn't aim to be positive or negative in its Cuba coverage, just accurate and fair.
I just hope that you cover the ladies in white, cover the dissidents, cover the prisoners who are there for political reasons.
Local 10 News has reported numerous times from Cuba over the last 2 years and included mistreatment of dissidents, as well as telling the stories of average Cubans.
I don't have a problem with press coverage of Cuba as long as the press coverage is unfiltered and you're able to go in and provide coverage of the truth. My bigger problem is the Cuban people won't get to see it.
There is no free press in Cuba. Media are state-owned and run, but Cubans like Yoani Sanchez are pushing boundaries, using the internet to connect with each other and the world. Now Local 10 will connect with them.
This is something to celebrate. We know that everything the Cuban government puts out is fake news, so now we're looking forward to getting some real news from WPLG straight out of Havana.
The Castro government has always been a master of PR, expert at spinning stories their way. We know that going in.
I know Channel 10, and I expect Channel 10 to ask the tough questions of the regime and to interview the real Cuba, which are the opposition leaders, those that suffer from imprisonment.
And that gentleman is the Cuban artist known as El Sexto, who was jailed for writing Safe Way. He is gone on a wall in Havana after Fidel Castro died. We talked to him too in Cuba. We will report from Cuba without fear or favor.
At the